wanted a name after my brother George. So the first one that came was George, and there's lots of good history that follows after that. But I also was interested in the state legislature, having had some experience with Abe Lincoln and others. People encouraged me to run for the Senate, which I did, and I was elected. And in 1860, I got to be part of the delegation that went to the Chicago Convention to nominate Mr. Lincoln, and we loved that man. And when he was murdered, this town was just in deep, deep sorrow. That first night, people were down at the train station just sobbing. 5,000 of us down at the train station just sobbing, rather silently but mournfully. And in the days that followed, when the train finally brought the casket to Springfield, the final resting place, the train was moving very slowly, and there were about 8,000 people at 3 a.m., because that's when it was scheduled to come through, lining the tracks, and there was only one car that was lit up with gas lamps. That was the one that showed dimly the casket on the inside. Lots more tears and mourning. But as the president would have had it, we had to move on. And so a couple years later, in the Senate, Lincoln had been, some of you might not know, but he had been highly involved in railroad contracts. He knew that was the wave of the future, and so he had a lot of experience, and I learned some things about that. And so in 1867, I crafted some legislation, got the support of townsfolk here with money and grants, and we got legislation passed so that the train route that was going to go straight from Springfield on out to Paxton, we made a provision that it could bend through Saybrook, to which it did. And that was a huge boon for this little town, because after that, we weren't just trading with each other or locals. It became much more opportunities for us, and we began to expand. And some years we had the record for shipping the most grain of any of the other areas in the eastern part of McLean County. So the railroad was a big boost for us at that time. If you have any questions or comments about things you know that might help us, we'd entertain them right now.
Here's an interesting fact that someone shared with me, Haines, is that, our oldest daughter, Lavina, who we named after my mother, Lavina, she got married to that very fine fellow, Bill Beckwith, and he was well known in these parts as well. He was a postal carrier, and actually had a partner named Saybrook, who was a kind of influential individual. They would have a child, his name was William, and he was a grand marshal in the parade that was here in 1925. And the 100th, the Bicentennial of Cheney's growth. That was our grandchild.